A lot of Democrats, a lot of progressives, very nervous about what the president is going to do with Social Security and Medicare. And the president didn't really tip his hand that much last night. Nonetheless, Daniel Marin, since you work by day on Social Security, I want to get your reaction to here was the president's sort of key remarks on Social Security and Medicare from his State of the Union. Listen.
And those of us who care deeply about programs like Medicare must embrace the need for modest reforms. Otherwise, our retirement programs will crowd out the investments we need for our children and jeopardize the promise of a secure retirement for future generations. But we can't ask senior citizens and working families to shoulder the entire burden of deficit reduction while asking nothing more from the wealthiest and the most powerful.
Yeah, David, first of all, look, in terms of the words themselves, I don't think that I'm to the left of the president, and I think that a lot of people have asked, probably would be as well, because the idea that, yeah, sure, if you're asking seniors to make sacrifices, you should be asking it of millionaires too. But I don't think that we need to be asking seniors to make sacrifices, and I certainly don't think that there's an economic and a moral equivalent between something like the chain CPI, which will push hundreds of thousands of seniors into poverty, and asking millionaires to pay the same rate as a middle-class person. I don't see those as morally equivalent. The president's sort of saying like, well, at least we should have one if we have the other. In terms of what we're hearing in my work, in sort of my weekday capacity at Social Security Works, there were a number of developments prior to the speech that sort of made the context, that really framed the context of the speech in terms of how this fight is going to go down. We saw a number of things. On Friday, we saw Senate Democrats leak to Greg Sargent in the Washington Post that the Senate Democratic plan to replace the sequester automatic spending cuts would include a 50-50 mix of spending cuts and new revenues, and would not include any Social Security or Medicare beneficiary cuts. It could include Medicare savings. So that's what we saw on Friday from the Senate Democrats. Then the following week, the president repeatedly basically reaffirmed that the Social Security cut, specifically chain CPI, was on the table, that Jay Carney confirmed it at a press conference. Dan Pfeiffer wrote on the White House blog that the offer that the president had offered Speaker Boehner in the past, or at least as of December 2012, on the eve of the fiscal cliff, was still in play, was still valid. And then we heard it again from the president that he wants a balanced approach. So quite frankly, David, given the media furor over the idea that the president rejected the Medicare eligibility age, which quite frankly, to my mind, they had kicked off the table a long time ago, very publicly, by having Dick Durbin condemn it, who's a surrogate for the president, by having the Center for American Progress release, well, not by having them release a study, but the fact that they are so close to the White House, and they released a study showing that it would leave 450,000 Americans uninsured, said that to begin with, there was always sort of a red herring, and perhaps by comparison, the chain CPI would seem more palatable, particularly the liberal base. And we've just seen it time and time again. They see it as an easy combination of some revenues and what they can pass off as a technical change to the inflation measure that determines Social Security's cost of living adjustment.
Well, you can only imagine, how much faster the Obama administration would be able to do this if the Republicans had their act together and was able to, if the Republican Party was able to sort of be a little bit more moderate in some of their positions. It does seem like the president is willing to give away a lot of entitlement issues that Democrats hold very dear. And yet, perhaps one of the things that's protecting these programs right now is the fact that Republicans are being so intransigent and so extreme in so many other issues that right now the president doesn't even have somebody, he doesn't have a negotiating partner that it's worth giving them some of these proposals that, of course, make Democrats' stomachs turn. But in any case, one of the issues that the president talked a lot about at State of the Union, a lot more than people, I think, maybe had anticipated, was climate change. We'll talk about that when Take Action News continues.